Hey friends, Katie here for Cat Scrappiness. Thanks so much for joining me today. I have a fun project to share with you, but first I want to let you know that you can get 15% off all Cat Scrappiness branded products from July 10th through the 15th using the code 𝐂𝐥𝐬𝐧𝐥𝐢. I want to go over a couple of products that are available in the shop, and as well as many more. I don't have them all, but the ones I do have, I'm going to share with you today. I've got the Wonky Stitched Slimline Die, I've got the Distressed Edge Slimline Die, and the Rainbow Slimline Die. And the Rainbow Slimline Die comes with a couple clouds, some raindrops, and some stars. And new to the shop are the magnetic storage pockets. They're a 5-pack of magnetic slimline storage pockets. So here I'm showing you the slimline foliage frame die as well as the waterside slimline die. And these are great. I don't have a ton of slimline dies, as you can see, but one of the things I used one of my pockets for is a small alphabet die set that I have, and it fit all of the dies that came with that particular alphabet die set. And it's nice that I have a place that I can keep them on a magnetic sheet, which is awesome. If you don't want a magnetic die pocket, or you can't be around magnets, or you just don't like magnets, then Cat has come out with just a 10-pack of the storage pockets. So it is the same pocket for the magnetic storage pockets, but it's just the pocket, which is great for little die cuts, alphabet dies, and things like that. So those are brand new to the shop. My personal favorite are the mini slimline dies. I'm a big A2 die fan, and so the mini slimline is right up my alley. And so a couple of the dies that I have, there's many more in the shop, just like the regular slimline. She's got tons of them there. But I have the Distressed Edge, I've got the cross stitched, I've got the postage stamp, I've got the never ending, which is a great all around die, layering die. I've got the tri-frame, that is good for shaker cards. I've got the stitched rope, the chevron, the zigzag, and the fancy scalloped. But what I'm showing you here is completely brand new to the shop. Nobody's seen it except for Cat. Nobody's got it. They're brand new mini slimline, pre-cut, pre-scored card bases and coordinating envelopes. I love this because now I don't have to mess around with cutting my cardstock up. I can just have these card bases and envelopes ready to go. They come in white, cherry, and craft. And this stamp set here that I'm showing you is brand new also. It is the Happy Day stamp set, and it's a great all over holiday sentiment stamp set, which is great. Now here I'm just showing you, they're not new, they're the regular slimline envelopes, and we have them in Happy Mail, which is the rainbow colors here. You get 14 of them and you get 2 of each color. But there's also whipped cream and smart white, so you get 2 different whites, and then you get a parcel wrap craft, and those come in a 10-pack. So lots of great stuff. I'm going to show you more as we go through the video, but I want to get into our project. And what I'm starting with is a piece of hot press watercolor paper. I'm going to be using some pigment powders and some perfect pearls. And I like hot press watercolor paper because with perfect pearls, I found on cold press watercolor paper, the texture caused the pearlized water to settle in those pockets, and it wasn't the nice smooth finish that I wanted. So I much prefer hot pressed, but you can use either. It really is your preference. So here I'm using some pigment powders, and again, anything you have, you can use your Brushos, your Color Bursts, your Nuvo Shimmer powders to do this type of technique. And so I am using some Lime Pop and some bright green. It's just 2 variations of a green. And I'm going to spritz them once I get that bright green down. I'm going to add some perfect pearl. So just some perfect pearl powder in some water, shake it up, and then we're going to spritz away. Now, one of the things I like to do when I make backgrounds like this is do what I'm doing. I add lighter colors, I spritz the watercolor paper with the pearlized water, and then I come in with the darker colors. I don't always do that, but I just started doing it and I like it because you get some nice variation between the light and the dark. So now I'm coming in after I've spritzed my panel with the pearlized water with my turquoise. And turquoise is a primary color, and so it's going to blend nicely with the lime pop and the bright green. And then I'm coming in with Nebula Navy. And this is just a deep navy, and I'm tapping gently. I'm not shaking because there's actually more powder that you see. I'm going to add some more water here in a second, and you're going to be able to see the navy kind of burst up as I add more water. And so I will add a little bit more Nebula Navy. I want to have a little bit of white space, but not as much as I have up there in the top center. So I'm just going to add a little bit more powder. I'm going to spritz again to add a little bit more water, and then I'm going to let it dry. I do use my bone folder to kind of push down the center because what you can't see is it kind of was humping up there in the center with all that water. But again, another good reason to use watercolor paper of any kind. Now, if you're not using pearlized water, you can just use cold pressed because it won't matter. You're not going to have to worry about that shimmer settling into the pockets of that textured watercolor paper. So here off camera, I went and I die cut my dyed panel. And here I've gone through and I die cut a piece of heavyweight white cardstock that I'm now just going to kind of pick out of my die and poke everything out. And there's some loose little shreds there. I just use a dry brush and wipe those away off camera, and that'll be fine. Now here I'm just poking everything out, and I've got little tiny bits that I don't want to lose. So, and I always lose them, my friends, always. I'm surprised I didn't lose them here, but I didn't, thank goodness. But here I'm going to go through and I'm going to kind of lay in the center pieces, and we're just reversing everything. So we're going to take the white and add it into the dye panel, and then we're going to take the dyed panel and add it into the center of the white, and that's going to give us our inlaid dye technique. And it's super easy, it's not complicated, and you could, if you like to make slimline cards, it's a great way to get 2 for cards. We're still getting 2 for cards. We're just going to make a mini slimline with one of these panels. And again, because I'm a big mini slimline fan, this is, right up my alley in the way that I would take it. But in the event that you like regular slimline cards, you got a 2-fer with very little effort. So here I'm using liquid glue. Now some might wonder why I'm not using double-sided adhesive, and the reason is that these types of dyes, you get the leaves that are delicate, especially because they're not layered up to where you get a nice chipboard effect. I need the wiggle room with the liquid glue, and you're going to see here in a few minutes why. One of my leaves moved as I was laying it down here and adhering everything down, and I didn't realize it until the glue had dried, essentially. But because I used liquid glue, it made it a lot easier to lift that leaf up with my die pokey tool. Here I'm just adding some of the liquid glue to the inside piece so that I can add in my dyed centerpiece. And I'm going to flip it around because I put it in wrong again. And so here, once I flip it around, I realize that that lower right leaf is up too high, and I just take my pokey tool and dig that out. I do tear the paper a little bit, but I was able to salvage it. If I used double-sided adhesive, I wouldn't have been able to salvage it. Double-sided adhesive is just really strong stuff. So unless you're using Stick It, and I wasn't using that. So here we're just going to add a little bit more liquid glue and put our leaf back down and tuck everything in, and we're well on our way. So this is the start of our panel, and now I'm going to move on to the mini slimline. So for the mini slimline, we're going to cut our panel, okay, and we're going to take 1.25 inches off of each end. And it's important that you take it off of each end and you don't just take a 1/2 inch, or what is that? 2.5 inches off of one side, because otherwise you're going to have that end piece there that creates the frame, and you don't want that. You want it to be an even look. So you got to flip everything around and just take 1.25 inches off of each end, and that's going to give you a nice dual purpose inlaid framed die. Half framed, I guess, because you don't have the ends. But because we've only taken 1.25 inches off, this is going to go edge to edge on our 6x7 card base. And so you don't even notice that you don't have ends, you know, the borders on the ends, the frames on the ends, which is really nice. So you actually get 2 different cards with the same die cut and technique and everything. So here I'm just adding that down to my pre-cut, pre-scored mini slimline card base. I love saying that. I'm so excited that they're available in the shop. I hope that more colors become available. To start, like I said, we've got white, craft, and cherry. Great for Christmas. Those are perfect holiday colors, so that's just in the nick of time to get started on your holiday cards. Now here I'm burnishing everything down. Like I said, this is edge to edge, so I want to make sure that all my little spots and leaves and corners are adhered down to my card base. Now there's 2 little slivers of leaf that got trimmed off, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just finding those pieces and figuring out which direction they need to go, and I will add those in to the top and the bottom of the card panel. And then this card base is going to be complete, and then we're going to work on our die cuts. And as I come into the next scene for our die cutting, I did all the die cutting off camera. Here's our panels, but I did all the die cutting off camera. I put everything together, and so I used, for my slimline card, the Cat Scrappiness condensed uppercase alphabet die set, and I die cut those 3 times. I was just showing you how nice and thick that is with some heavyweight cardstock. And for my mini slimline, I used one of the new word dies, and there's a bunch. I'm using Sending Paper Hugs, so that's one of them. It does come with a shadow die, and they all come deburred, so you don't have to manually separate your 2 dies, which is great. But so we have Thinking of You, we have Happy Anniversary, we have Happy Mother's Day, we have Happy Father's Day, we have Happy Summer, we've got Congrats, and here's the Father's Day. We've got Missing You. This is a great one because you get 2 separate dies when you die cut that, and so you actually have the word you. So if you're in the market for the word you die, that's a great one, and it's a great font. We've got Congrats there, and then we have Hello My Crafty Friend. So lots of different word dies for any type of occasion. So here I'm just going to go through and add some liquid glue and start putting down my letters. Again, I want to remind you to check out catscrappiness.com and use that coupon. We have the sale going on for you guys from July 10th through July 15th. 15% off all Cat Scrappiness branded products. So if you need more word dies, more gems and pearls and stamps and envelopes and the new cardstock, now's the time to buy, my friends. Get all your stuff done and purchased for the holiday season. That way you are ready to go. Code for the 15% off is 𝐂𝐥𝐬𝐧𝐥𝐢 July. So just use that in the coupon box on the checkout page, and that will be applied to your order. Just remember that it only applies to Cat Scrappiness branded products. Okay, so here we're adding in our Y and getting everything lined up, and we're just about done with this card. We've got one more little element to add, but we're going to move on to the mini slimline and put the word paper on there. Again, Sending Hugs is separated from the word paper, so you actually have that option to just do a Sending Hugs. word die, which is great. And the cardstock I use for that is just a metallic blue cardstock. And I do end up adding some glossy accents to the top of that to bring out the mica shimmer that's in that cardstock. It's really, really pretty. Hard to see on camera. Okay, so here I'm stamping with our Happy Day stamp set in the word birthday, and I'm taking a little strip and cutting that, and then I'm going to trim it down here and then take the rest of that card strip and adhere it to the back of my sentiment strip. So I'm gonna, instead of using foam tape, I'm gonna use the cardstock to create my layers and to give a nice sturdy chipboard sentiment strip. And so easiest thing to do is to adhere, you know, each layer. And so once I adhere that piece, then I'll go and trim the excess away. That way I don't have any weird edges, one's shorter or longer than the other and things like that. So once I get that done, we're going to complete our regular slimline card. And I love how quick and easy this came together. I mean, really, you're just, the longest is waiting for your dyed panel to dry, and then you're die cutting for your letters and alphabets. And you don't have to go to the extreme that I do. I like the dimension that adding layers of die cuts and layering up my birthday sentiment gives, and the sending paper hugs. But you don't have to do that. You could just do one layer, and it would be even quicker to create these two cards. For the sentiment strip there, I did do 4 layers just to give a little bit extra height for the sentiment strip, because I'm going to place that right in between, and well, really on top of the 2 P's. And I think that just fits perfect there, and that's going to complete this card. I'm not going to add any other embellishments. I think the vibrancy of those pigment inks is just perfect, and nothing needs to be added to that to take away from it. But I have a new surprise. We have some brand new Rhinestone Mix Gems in the shop. And these are great because you get some nice, cool colors. Like that's tanzanite. Look at how deep and blue that is. I love it. And that's going to go on the Sending Paper Hugs card. I've got a few more. I mean, there's lots of them, but we've got pretty pink. We've got a gray diamond, and that's like a smoked gray gem. We've got baby blue and ruby red, emerald, deep emerald, sapphire blue. There's a crystal rhinestone, and there's a diamond mix, so that's more of just like a clear gemstone. And then one of my faves is the black obsidian. So we get some pretty nice black gems. That's going to be great for Halloween. And that's the sapphire blue. So there's a couple different shades of blue. There's the pinks, there's browns, different colored greens. I love it, love it, love it. But look at the rose gold. There's rose gold. That was so pretty. But released a couple of months ago, we had the pearl mix. So if you don't like the raised jagged edge of the rhinestone, then the pearl mixes are for you, because these are nice, round, smooth gems, and they're iridescent. So tons of colors in those also. So here I'm just going to go through and add my tanzanite gems. I used one for the tittle, for the top of my eye, for the dot in my eye, and then I'm just going to add a few around the panel just to break up a little bit of that white. And that completes our mini slimline card. I love the way these turned out, the vibrancy of the inks and the colors. I hope you enjoyed it too. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. Be sure and check out catscrappiness.com. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter. That's going to let you know when we have new product being released. Take advantage of that discount code. Have a fantastic day.